Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. Welcome back to Movie Monday, the third week in a row of doubles. We are finally caught up to the weeks I missed out. So from now on, it should be one per week from next week, as long as I manage to keep up. But in my defense, I've been on a lot of holidays this year, so it's mainly because of that anyway. There's been a lot of holidays, so, and it's been fun. I'm going on more next year, and hopefully I can manage my time better next year and end of this year as well. But I got movies planned, and you will see what they are. I mean, I did post a list on my community post, but like I am changing the Christmas ones. There's 4 Christmas ones for December. I'm going to change what they are, but I'm going to keep it as a surprise. But November, I tweeted out a list, so if you saw that list, you know what's coming after this one. Anyway, yeah, Bridge to Terabithia. This is a movie that's ruined a lot of childhoods in their childhoods. Like, usually when childhood gets ruined, it's after your childhood. It's when you're an adult, when you're a teenager, you see something that ruins your childhood. This was something that ruined your childhood within your childhood. But I don't remember it that much. I remember watching it, but I don't remember the ending. I do remember who dies. I remember who dies, but I mainly remember the movie from other people talking about it, how traumatizing it was to them as a kid, rather than me remembering it myself. I don't know why. Like, I remember parts of the movie. I don't remember how it ends. I don't know, it's weird because I remember watching it, but I don't remember most of it, including the ending. But I do remember who dies, even though I don't remember watching it. People that have watched it, who've spoken about it and how traumatizing it was, I do remember who died. This is a movie made for kids, but it involves death. Apparently it was made to help kids understand and deal better with loss and death, like losing a family member. Apparently, like, this movie was partly made to kind of teach children about grief. That's what I heard anyway. But yeah, it's a pretty sad story, but I don't remember it, so I'm gonna see if it affects the 27-year-old man. Let's see if it makes me upset watching it now, even though I know what's gonna happen, even though I don't remember it. But anyway, enough talking. I've said about 10 times I don't remember it. Let's just actually watch it. It's only 90 minutes long. Let's do this. So Zoe Deschanel is the teacher. I remember the teacher, and I remember the kid, the main character, found her attractive. I mean, I remember that. That was a weird scene. But I didn't remember it was Zoe Deschanel. So this movie came out in 2007. I was 12 that year. I mean, in August I was 12. Okay. For some reason I thought it came out earlier, but I still don't remember it. I must have watched it, like, I don't think I watched it when it released. I think I watched it like a year after it released. 2008 maybe. And I still don't remember it. I remember movies I watched back then, just not this one. Who knows, maybe that's why it wasn't as traumatizing. Because by then I'd started watching, like, James Bond films by the age of 12. So maybe that's why. But, like, people my age were traumatized by it though. And, like, wait, what timeline are we in? But I'd imagine, like, generations younger than me will have found it extra traumatizing. Yeah, it's about a kid. Main character, he doesn't have many friends. He gets bullied a little bit. He lives with his family. He's just a kid trying to live his life. And then a new girl comes into school, and well, they're not friends yet, but they become friends over time in the movie. So that's the main premise. But then there's a twist at the end. And also to note, like, in the classroom, like, the new girl, Leslie, she's also a bit of an outsider who doesn't have many friends, who gets picked on. So, you know, I guess that plays a big part in how, like, they're both kind of, like, in a way, the same people. Kind of like soulmates in a way. And that's a big part of the reason why they become such good friends. Oh no, I know what this is. It's that famous rope. That famous rope that they find over a river. I think it's a stream, or I can't remember, whatever. River, stream, whatever. They find this rope and they use it to swing over side from end to end for fun. This rope plays a big part, off screen mainly. It does look really fun though, until you realise what happens to it at the end. Yeah, there's a lot of context that I forgot. Like I mentioned before, but, like, there's a lot of context I forgot. Like, I knew, like, there was a new girl in class and they got along and they hung out a lot. They basically made their own fantasy world inside the woods, right? They just, I guess, merged their imaginations together and just live in their own little dream world together. in the middle of a forest. I don't remember any of that. Like I remember like I kind of remember like a bit of a forest and stuff, and I remember they'd hang out quite a lot. But I can't remember that they were both just, you know, kind of daydreaming together. They were somehow like sometimes people, like even I zone out sometimes, think about other things, but like they're somehow thinking about the same thing. They're like they don't have superpowers, but it's like they're connected in the way. Oh, it's pronounced Terabithia. Right, I said Terabithia, I think. I can't remember. Terabithia. Yes, I got it. So when I watch movies, I like to search it up on IMDb just to see who was in it and directors, etc. Apparently, a lot of people actually do that. A lot of people actually do, like, they go on IMDb to look at the cast of the film that they're watching. Like someone tweeted it like once, and they got like thousands of retweets. I'm just like, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who does this when I watch movies at home. But I found something interesting. The main character here, obviously, is much older now. He plays Ultraman in the anime on Netflix. What? I don't know that. I know he was in Hunger Games. I didn't remember he was in Hunger Games. But like, he plays Ultraman in the anime. I don't know that. It's kind of mad how they twist this movie, because like it seems like lighthearted for the most part. Like, yeah, it's about two weird kids who don't get along and get bullied, sure, but like that's what makes the friendship great. It builds up such a great friendship between two people that are outsiders, and they live in their own fantasy world, but they're friends. They spend time together. It's a happy movie, you know. It's a happy movie, and they have a lot of good times. And I'm pretty sure I'm about to see this this crazy emotional scene. They switched it so hard. So he goes on a trip with his teacher on a Saturday. That's interesting. I genuinely have no memory of that. I just remember there was a teacher in the classroom, and he kind of liked her a little bit, and then the girl said, "Why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer." But I don't remember him going on literally a trip with his teacher. Just him and her. Like, what? So I had to pause it. There's still 24 minutes left, so there's still a lot I don't remember. So it wasn't even the ending. Not the very ending anyway. So the last time he sees her, it's in the rain, and there's the adopted dog that she takes with her, that he gifted to her, and she's off in the rain. And then literally he's off with his teacher the next day on a trip. They go to a museum, so there's nothing like weird about it. It's just he's going to a museum on a trip. It's just him and his teacher. That's just a weird thing, like a teacher personally calling a student and then taking him to a museum far away is a bit strange, but you know, nothing bad happened there. They just went to a museum. It's fine. I think the teacher just liked his creativity or something, and just asked him like he might be interested in this, like the other kids wouldn't, or whatever. They had a conversation about open imagination. They had a conversation about having an open mind and a big imagination. So that's what he was talking to his teacher about after the museum over a meal, and also talking about the girl as well, about how she also like tells him to keep an open imagination and everything. So like that was an interesting scene. So like to this point, like the movie's fine, and it's just getting a nice vibe to it. And then all of a sudden he gets home, his family are distraught. They think he's dead or something, because it turns out that she died. And she died on that rope. That rope apparently broke, and she fell in and hit her head, and she's dead. Just like that. He goes away for a day, and then she's gone. She's just gone. That's crazy. Like, you just lose someone like that. And I guess I can see how that like helps kids. I see how that will help a child understand, because that's what death is. It just happens. It's sudden, no matter when it comes, whether it's of old age. Like sometimes you see it coming, like with like, you know, diseases and stuff, but like for the most part it's so sudden, and it just happens, and it just happens when you don't expect it, you know, and it just takes you by shock, and a lot of the time you didn't get to say goodbye either. So yeah, it's realistic in terms of like someone so young and so like full of life can still have their life taken away by, you know, one little bad thing happening to them. So yeah. I want to see what the rest of the movie is though, because I don't remember anything else. But there's 24 minutes left. I assume that includes credits, but that's still at least like 15 minutes of of film, so I'm intrigued. So obviously he just can't accept that she's gone, like it happened so suddenly. They go to her family's house to pay respects, and yeah, I was kind of thinking like you never see her family until like to that point, so I was just like, does she have a family? Yes, she does. And her dad went on about how she struggled to make friends at her old school and moved out here in hope that she'd make new friends, and he was her best friend. But yeah, like he made a difference to her life, and obviously he's gonna be very sad, but like, you know, that was something at least. But yeah, like, what do you even say to that? If I'm in that situation, what do I say? He said you're welcome because they said thank you, but like, what do you say really? And then he says to the teacher, who's also at the house to pay respects, he's like, next time we should invite Jess. She'll like that. Sorry, not Jess. Jess is the main character, sorry. Next time we should invite Leslie. That's what he says to the teacher. I'm just like, whoa, okay. He's grieving, so you can let him off, but I'm just like, I felt like that's a little bit harsh. One thing that's satisfying is that he punches like the one of the kids who bullies him. He starts to pick on him again, even after her death, and then he punches him in the face. Very satisfying, very satisfying. He deserved it. And then after class, he got pushed over because there's more than one bully, right? They pushed him over. So then this girl bully who bullied Leslie, who's now obviously dead, but like she used to bully her, but like they kind of made a truce. Like she kind of like, she had a bad experience of someone, so Leslie's bully became Leslie's friend, Leslie's main bully. So like she liked Leslie at the end before she died, so that's good. Like Leslie and her, they made friends basically. So when she saw that when she saw that Jess, Leslie's best friend, was being bullied, I'm guessing like it's off screen, but like you see that bully bloodied up. So I'm guessing Leslie's former bully, beat up Jess's bully, punched him in the face. I would have liked to see that. That would have been satisfying. But like, back to a serious note, like obviously Jess is not taking this very well, and he's still out in the woods with kind of a hope that, you know, he'll be with her again in this imaginary world in the woods. But he's grieving a lot, and he's taking it badly, and he believes it's his fault. But yeah, he thinks it's his fault because, you know, he went on this trip and he could have either invited her or he could have been with her, you know, in the woods. And a lot of people would blame themselves. But, you know, there's always someone who'll tell you, like, it wasn't actually your fault, you couldn't have known. And in this case, it's his father, who he has a very on and off relationship with. I wouldn't say on and off, but let's just say there's a few disagreements here and there, but at the end of the day, his father's still there. Like, you know, when you're dealing with grief, you're not always alone. You've got people around you, and I think this movie actually also spreads that message around. The scene where he pushes his little sister over is quite sad as well. Also, like, speaking of his little sister, like, I think she was, I mean, I looked on IMDb, 1999, so that's, she was 8 when the movie came out, so maybe even 7 when the movie was filmed. She's a really good actor. I mean, like, for that age, like, you know, kids, you know, they're not particularly, like, gonna be that, you know, insane, like, DiCaprio level of acting, are they? Just gonna be kid actors. In terms of, like, actors of that age, she's actually really good. Nails the facial expressions. And, yeah, an underrated character, I think, in this movie, that I don't really remember that much. Now he's got his sister involved in this whole imaginative forest area, so he's letting her in on this imaginary world, which is nice. It's a nice touch, because he's built some things now. He's now built this bridge. I feel like his father would be very impressed, considering how the movie went with his father in certain scenes. I feel like his father would be very impressed by the bridge that he built, because it looks good for something that was built by some school kid. And that's where the title comes from. The whole movie is about finding a friend and then losing that friend to death, and, you know, about this rope and, you know, just general grieving and loss. And then after that, the bridge gets made. So yeah, the movie is titled The Bridge to Terabithia, but the bridge doesn't turn up until like 6 minutes left in the film. And the movie is over. It ends on a nice happy note, but damn. You get this movie where, you know, two people become friends and they have a great journey together, a journey of life, shall we say. And then one just dies, just suddenly, while the other's not there, and the other blames himself, and then you get this whole grieving period. Obviously it's only a few minutes, it's not that long lasting a period, but you would assume that, you know, that's a long lasting period in terms of like real time. And then it ends on a note where, you know, he's a little happier. I wouldn't say happier, but like he's not in that state anymore where he's just grieving and he blames himself and he wants to be left alone and he doesn't care about anything or anyone else, and he's just really angry and sad. But it, you know, instead of just sticking to that, it ends with him opening up to his sister and his father, and you know, introducing his sister to the world that him and his late friend were, you know, so involved in. But yeah, it's a nice ending. It's a nice ending to a sad movie that was mostly quite happy. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Storytelling wise, that was very good. For a kids movie, that was very good. But definitely a very traumatizing kids movie. But yeah, it didn't traumatize me. It didn't make me upset, but it definitely hits you hard a little bit. So it tears at the heartstrings, because, you know, to lose someone like that, it's crazy. And they built the characters up really well, so like killing one off was always going to be a shock, and they did that really well. So yeah, it's a good movie. It won't traumatize you as an adult, but it might. It just might. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and see you.